But I'll tell you, Simi, you did something very sensible by going, away from Delhi and from Gurgaon, because it's very important to keep yourself safe, and Seema as well. It's very, very important.
Yeah, that's the thing, Champi. I don't think you knew, but Seema's cancer had returned. So she was at fourth stage cancer, and we had to make quite a few difficult choices.
Oh dear, I didn't know that at all. I'm sorry to
Yeah,
hear
we
that.
kept it
Oh,
quiet,
sorry
in
to hear
fact.
that, Simi.
But you know what? The good news is that we followed. We did not follow traditional medicine. We stopped doing that completely and only went the ancient medicine way, ancient Tibetan medicine, and we are up in the mountains. And Seema had a scan in June, and it was absolutely clear.
That's
So
Oh,
God is great.
wow. I'm just going to
Yeah, yeah.
interrupt. I think we'll begin with our sponsors, and then another 2 minutes we will start the program. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure.
With 25 acres of breathtaking beauty and absolute tranquility, Madhuban Resort and Spa exemplifies luxury that is soaked in tradition.
Madhuban is a home away from home. With his vast, enchanting gardens, Team Madhuban always awaits to give you service with a smile. Adding to that, the aromas of cuisines from around the world makes Madhuban a perfect wedding destination.
At Madhuban, an experienced team of wedding concierge and event planners are committed to weaving together moments that are certain to stay with you for a lifetime. Because moments as special as your wedding need a destination as special as Madhuban. Madhuban Resort and Spa, luxury soaked in tradition.
So, good evening, everyone, and uh, we shall begin. My dear Flow friends, good to see you all again, and welcome to what promises to be yet another lively webinar with all our panelists for this evening on our Flow Ahmedabad chapter platform. And warm greetings to our past chairs, my fellow chapter chairs, GB members, Flow members, and viewers on YouTube from around the world. As you know, Flow is the women's wing of FICCI and is all about empowering women from all stratas of life. We have 70 chapters pan India, representing 8,000 women professionals and entrepreneurs, headed under the dynamic leadership of Flow National President, Ms. Janvi Fukan from the Northeast. Our event today is on golf as a lifetime and lifestyle sport to maintain good health, mind, and body. There is an aristocracy in this sport that combines business with pleasure. Tee-offs are planned with both friends and business associates, and people even plan golf holidays. I look forward to a new beginning all over again for me, uh, playing golf with you all, my Flow friends from Ahmedabad chapter, in a very near future. We have today amongst us golf patrons from various fields on our panel today. Miss Kavita Singh, who needs no
Hello.
introduction. Hi, Kavita.
Hi.
She's
Nice.
the owner, yes. She's the owner of prestigious DLF Golf Course and president of the Women's Golf Association of India, WGAI. Ms. Champika Sayals, Secretary General, Women's Golf Association of India, Pro Golf. Hi, Champika. Indumati Bhaskar, owner of the To The Tee, one of its kind academy, which houses a driving range. Hi, Indumati. Kiran Kanwar, a golf teaching professional. She's the first female golf instructor of India, having 31 years in this field now. Welcome again, Kiran. Triman Saluja Kaur, she's the youngest woman golfer who turned professional golfer at the age of 19. Hi, Triman, how are you? Welcome.
Good evening, ma'am.
And Smriti Mehra, first Indian woman to qualify and become a member of the US LPGA Tour. Hi again, Simi. Dipali Gandhi, she was the first Indian entrepreneur who started making golf equipment in the country of Zavajan Sports Private Limited. Hi, Dipali. Jyoti Singh. Jyoti is a very dear friend of mine who has helped me today in organizing this event with the help of Dipali Gandhi, and they both will be moderating this event today. And so I welcome you all on this very beautiful evening, and we're going to have a fantastic event also. I appreciate your time taken to be our guests and panelists for the day. And for that, I would like to present a gift for you, for all of you. Chitra, if you can present. It's a 3-day stay at Madhuban Resort and Spa that you saw the advertisement earlier. And I hope I get to see all of you here one of these days. Thank you, Chitra. So let me say a few words before we begin about my friend Jyoti Singh. She's my childhood friend of the past 60 years. Jyoti is a passionate golfer and wife of Vice Admiral Madanjit Singh, retired. She was introduced to golf by her father at a very young age of 30, as she walked alongside with him while he played at the golf course in Mombasa, East Africa. Her father's caddy noticed her prowess and informed her that she had a natural swing. She took his advice and she started playing at a golf course situated adjacent to her house in London when she moved there. From then on, golf is as much part of her life as was her profession, being an optometrist and a contact lens specialist. Jyoti registered her charity, Jyoti Care Benevolent Foundation, in 2007. Besides looking after the eyes of thousands of underprivileged children, Jyoti has been actively involved in promoting golf for women and children by organizing golf tournaments for them. It is held at the United Services Club, known as US Golf Club in Mumbai. And it has become very popular amongst golfers, and it has a unique format. The tournament is called Fun Golf, where a lady invites men to make her 4-ball team. So the women are on top, and her score is counted for the winning team. There is no handicap limit, and even beginners are invited to play. Many of the ladies who started playing golf in a tournament have now become excellent golfers. So before I hand over the platform to you, Jyoti and Dipali, I have multiple questions wrapped into one actually. So, and this is it. As we all know, golf as a sport, one can play by oneself or in a group. So what does it take to begin playing golf? Say right away, as we believe, unlike many other sports, you cannot begin playing golf without planning. You need a golf course, maybe with membership, golf club set, either borrowed, rental, or purchase, a coach for the first few lessons, and then the willpower and dedication to play regularly, to keep you in the groove of this game, to make it a lifetime friend of yours. So tell me really, Jyoti, how difficult or easy it is for a woman to start playing golf at any age? If you can answer that, all rolled into one.
Taru, for those very kind words. And just to add, eye health and golf go hand in hand, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. So what better place than a golf course to relieve eye strain? The outdoors has been recommended by World Health Organization as one of the best treatment for myopia control due to excessive use of handheld devices. So to answer your question, Taru, golf is not a difficult sport to begin with, and most of your questions will be answered by our expert panelists. However, personally, for me, golf has been a great spiritual journey, especially when I was going through a rough time. I would go straight to the driving range and hit 100 balls in the evening after work. And this concentration to strike the ball perfectly was something that took away all the worries like magic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's my great pleasure to introduce my dearest friend, Deepali Gandhi. I met Deepa in 1979 as a fiery teenager with burning ambitions. Over the years, I'm proud to share that she has certainly achieved her ambition by becoming a leading woman entrepreneur in golf equipment. I have seen her work hard in this field. She started distributing golf equipment and accessories. She has supported all my tournaments since 1999. Now we open the floor to our esteemed panelists who are all top names in the field of golf today. Deepa, I hand over the platform to you.
Thank you, Jyoti. Yes, I do remember we had some great times at the US Club. I'm overwhelmed to be here today with everybody, all the dignitaries in golf. I had intended to introduce Kavita ji, but I think she is not come on.
Oh, I'm here.
You are, sorry, I couldn't see you.
Sorry, Deepali. No, I'm very much here, Deepali. Thank you.
Nice to meet you again.
So nice to meet all of you. It's nice to meet someone from outside Delhi. So thank you.
I think the name on your screen is showing as Anushka's iPad. That's why I think.
She's the computer person. I'm a bit of a techno moron, so I apologize for that.
That's okay. Yeah.
Kavita ji absolutely needs no introduction. She belongs to DLF, and I would say she's the doyen for the first lady for Indian golf. She is presently, Kavita ji is the president of Women's Golf Association of India and also on the committee for the Olympics. I have met her only a couple of times, but I've always been in awe of her.
Thank you.
I think Kavita ji, you could just share some few words with us.
Thank you.
Please share this presentation.
She can walk us through the presentation.
Well, as you know, we are all a family of golfers. We have a very prestigious golf club in Gurgaon, which is the DLF Golf and Country Club, which hosts a Gary Player 18-hole course and a 9-hole Arnold Palmer course. We host the Women's Indian Open. I, as you know, head the women's professional golf in India, which was conceived by Champika Sayal and Mr. Tandon in the year 2004. Basically, we wanted to empower women through sport and make them aware that they could have a livelihood after. I mean, in sports, you normally have the professional women, but in India, we don't have that. We finish off at an amateur level. You have Nonita Lal Qureshi, was again another Arjuna Award winner, brilliant player,
Champika Sayal, who, as you know, is our Secretary General, again, a very good player. But what happens after that? You play amateur golf, and then there was no other way out for them to become professional golfers and to have a platform where they could earn money and represent the country and play professional golf. So Champika sort of dreamt up this. She did our constitution, and I sort of took it forward under, I was the chairperson before, the vice chairperson. Then unfortunately, Mr. Tandon died. I became the chairperson. We have, since the year 2004, hosted 13 events. 1 year we couldn't, 2008, because of financial, the world crash. But other than that, I would say that we started off with 5 players. Today we have 40 professional players. We hold the Women's Indian Open, which is played with women from 120 countries. We televise worldwide. I would say I'm very happy to say that we have managed to give professional golf in India a face, which is recognized and respected overseas. We are turning out some good players. It's been a very slow but steady journey, I would say. Like I said, from 5, we started off, we're 40 players now. This year, Aditi Ashok won the Arjuna Award for golf. We have Gaurika Bishnoi. We have a whole, Twesa Malik. We have a whole lot of other girls who are also playing international tournaments. So our main aim was to empower women, to give them a profession where they could sort of go forth. And then even it doesn't just end by being a professional golfer. Hopefully this will also make them take their careers forward, where they can become teachers, they can be sports psychologists. There's a whole field open for women. It's not just that you stop playing golf at a certain age. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, I think, Jyoti, that golf is, my husband's grandfather was playing golf till the age of 86. He would set out at 5 in the morning with his oxygen cylinder and his nurse and his cart, and he would go and hit balls at Delhi Golf Club. So it's a sport, like again what you mentioned, it's like a meditation. It has helped me through a very tough time when my mother had cancer. I would go and play golf once a week, and those 5 hours was like meditation. It helped me to face the coming week again. So I think we are all golf lovers. We want to help and promote the game. So, I mean, it's a passion with one. And what more can I say?
Thank you very much, Kavita ji. Deepti, are you there?
Yes, I'm very much here. Yes. And I think, Champika could also take you through, sort of we do hold 17 to 18 tournaments every year, which are held all over India. So we try to get girls from all the states. We want to encourage sort of awareness where, we even have girls who are from underprivileged backgrounds who have today come forth and are playing our tour. So it gives one a lot of satisfaction to know that one is encouraging players, one is giving them a platform to come and play. And my only hope is, I hope we can take it forth further. It has been recognized as an Olympic sport. My sincere wish would be that the government helps us, because actually we do not get any help from the government or the sports ministry. So it is very sad that a sport like golf in India is still deemed as an elitist sport and a rich man's sport, which is unfortunate, I feel, to tag any game. It is as good a sport as your cricket or your badminton or your kabaddi or your wrestling. I mean, our girls have excelled in all these fields, so I don't see why not we can't go ahead. I'm sorry if I'm taking up too much of time. I think 6 minutes is over, so it's been a pleasure talking to you all.
Kavita ji, I'd like to tell you about my pet project, Slum Golf. After seeing the movie Slumdog Millionaire, I conceived the idea of Slum Golf. And at that time, I was running a driving range. And so my coaches, I gave them the idea, and then we made these very bizarre looking clubs out of steel rods and created, with the help of a sponsor, a YouTube movie. And that has had likes all over the world. And last year, Urban Golf from Paris, not last year, 2018, Urban Golf from Paris invited these boys to Paris to play with them on the streets and also watch Ryder Cup.
That's wonderful. It must be so satisfying. That's really amazing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. And now I'm working with some slum children, the girls, to do the same.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. Really, it's quite amazing.
Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce Champika Sayal. I met her when she was captain of Delhi Golf Club ladies section. I used to go and beg, Champika, help me get some business. She remembers that very well. Do let us know, Champika, forward.
You're on mute, Champika ji, you're on mute. Can you unmute, please? You're still, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah. Unmute yourself, please.
Champy, you're on mute.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can start
Okay.
over again, please? Thank you.
Okay, good evening, ladies, all of you. And Taruna and Dipali, thank you for calling us on the show. As a webinar panelist, I think it's been one of the most dynamic achievements that women have seen and golfers have seen, that the last 4 or 5 months, we've just had to depend on webinars. And as you know, the WGI was conceived primarily as a single-minded agenda to help young golfers. You see that, Simi Mehra was a 12-year-old girl. When I saw her, I used to see her playing golf at Tollygunge Club, and she made a remarkable, she had remarkable achievements as a young player. I've been on a golf course in a golf tournament in Malaysia in the early 90s, where she had a course record of 9 under par on Sojana. So, when I saw people like Simi coming up, and Simi will, say her part, it was such a tough life for a young golfer, a girl particularly. It had, I mean, what happens is, in India, any national, sports person playing for national pride, they have to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that was missing as far as women's golf was concerned. It was actually missing. And I decided, when I saw Simi struggling, Noni struggling, they were all struggling, particularly in the late 80s and 90s. It was heartbreaking. And after, after my captaincy, where I met Dipali, I had very clear, decided in my mind that, look, I've been in administration of women's golf for a very long time after having given up, competitive golf because I had children and I had a married life. So I had to make a good, do some good time management there. I decided that it's time that I needed to make some radical changes. Now, while I was sitting as the chairperson of the Indian Golf Union Ladies section, it became a very difficult task, because the way the National Federation was structured, there was a lot of bureaucracy there, so much so that I remember a time when Simi was, in, I think it was the year 1999, she was selected. She got an automatic exemption to play in a big tournament in Europe. And honestly, as the national chairperson, I couldn't help her because she was a professional golfer. Now we had the PGTI of India in those days, which was the teaching body, which was the players' body, or the professional body. And believe it or not, as late as 1999, our men's professional body, Taruna, and Dipali, they didn't want women golfers to join their cadres. Can you believe it? So I was actually absolutely, I was really embarrassed when I had to deal with that sitting as the national chairperson. And Simi will come on and tell you, things as to what happened. Now, I was very fortunate that I had a longer term. I had a term which, stretched on as the national chairperson. I was able to bring in some good changes, and more so, as you know, we go to this tournament called the Queen Circuit Cup, the Asian Ladies Invitational Golf Championship each year. And every year, as the players kept going there, when you start seeing that your players are the oldest among a group of youngsters in the region. So what I say is, we had players in their 30s, 35, 38, playing in a tournament where the age group had suddenly come down over a period of 6 to 8 years to 14, 15-year-old girls. So, for a, mid-age woman to compete with these youngsters became something which was unimaginable, unacceptable, rather to say it was unacceptable. So once my term got over, while in fact I was the chairperson, I got invited to a forum in China where a lot of the ladies from the Queen Circuit Cup and the Asian lady, they saw, the kind of work that I had put in. So they invited me to talk there, and they said that, look, golf, if you don't make some radical changes now, golf in the Asia Pacific region going to collapse. At least and it was for every country, it was the same. Whether it was Malaysia, whether it was Thailand, whether it was Singapore, whether it was, in fact, some of those countries till today are struggling for, to host professional golf or have a career. So they were, just one or two players coming from Philippines, one from Hong Kong, not from even Hong Kong, but Japan and Korea. Suddenly, Korea was the role model country where a lot of the players, actually the sport got a massive jump when the government started supporting women's golf there. And when they actually supported women's golf, it became like an industry. You know, right from scratch. They started it. So they had this player called Sherry Park. One player, two officials. So in 2004, I was invited by the LPGA to the World Congress, and I spoke about a lot of things there, and I met a lot of important people who said, look, I said, I've got one player and she plays on the LPGA, but we need to help her. We need to start professional golf. And, I was a little ahead of my time, but I was so grateful, very, very grateful that things worked out. And, Kavita Singh, when I went with my idea to her, she was very, very positive. She was positive, and I told her, look, we are a little ahead of our time. However, this is what needs to be done. It is terrible for us to see, young national sportsmen putting up their blazers and their dads coming and saying, look, we are just finished. I can't spend any more money on amateur golf. Can you please help my kids? It was heartbreaking. So I think we came in at a very, important time. I was sitting in a chair, which, and post that, of course, I was very lucky to be in a chair where I could take decisions and also, be heard. The early, I think Dipali will agree that the late 19s and early 20s, nobody was actually listening to us. Nobody was interested in, I remember turning Dipali Shah away from my lady's room because I couldn't buy her golf balls or I couldn't offer her any business. Nobody was really interested in, the dealing with that part of golf. But fortunately, by 2009, when golf became an Olympic sport, uh, got recognized as a discipline during the Olympics, things changed a bit, and still there was a problem because the IG in the Indian Golf Union had to become the other national sports federation. They had to revamp their whole system. Now, having said that, there was still no place for professional golf. We had to really we started very slowly, as Kavi said, that, we moved from a 8 lakh tournament to today, we have about 1.3 crores as our prize money. So we had 5 tournaments and 8 lakhs prize money that saw us through the first Women's Indian Open, which we were grateful. Again, the DLF sponsored it for 3 years. Thereafter, it became it got better recognition. It became a part of the Ladies European Tour, and everybody's worked very hard towards that. I mean, it was not at all an easy decision, even for Mrs. Singh, for Kavita, to put in that kind of money. And, our basic thing was, because very important, what should I say, when I look back, I say that, look, we didn't go for any fancy, uh, you know, uh, what would I call it? It's like it was somewhat of like an NGO. At the same time, it was not commercial. It was an absolutely not-for-profit organization. And in fact, a lot of people used to ask me, why is it not called the LPGA? Why is it, So I said, look, in India, the laws of the land are very different, first of all. If we have a commercial organization like the LPGA, we will not get any funding because it's expensive. LPGA wanted their share of, what you call trademarks and things. I mean, we couldn't even afford it. We had no money. So, by and by, because of the module we took, we managed to sustain our operation. Now, a lot of people are shocked in Europe when I tell them, we are a 4-member operation, actually 3-member, 4-member operation. Till 2012, we were running the tournaments ourselves. We were being the tournament directors, at least personally, whether it was the PN's job, whether it was the, running the tournaments, until one time, I actually put my hands up and I told Mrs. Singh, I said, Kavi, now I can't manage the compliances. Now, when you have a organization, Dipali, you all know the rules are so stringent in India, between the taxation and it was a real humongous task, I would say. But thankfully, by her grace, that we were able to employ a CEO, and I was so happy that day. That helped me to also diversify into other areas of WGI's operation. One of the most important thing was, of course, the caddy welfare. We were very lucky to be able to send some of our pros, professional players who couldn't make it, couldn't make any prize money, give them alternative careers. And they went up to the RNA, became tournament directors. Some of them became referees. And, like that, we managed to move them on into different areas. Even today, as we speak, though we've got 40 golfers, there's been a high attrition rate because in India, as you all know, girls get married very early, and sometimes they couldn't sustain a lifestyle, as a combination of their marriages and playing professional golf. We passed that stage. Thankfully, we went in the last 4 or 5 years, particularly, we've gone to another level because a lot of our players started going to the Ladies European Q School. From there, the Ladies European Tour started asking us, listen, you've just got 20, 25 players, but where are these players coming from? Because, they're showing remarkable amount of, talent. So by God's grace, we've been moving one step at a time. I think we were very like-minded in thinking that, look, we are not taking a jump from the lowest floor right up there. We'll go in slow stages. Let's plan everything. And there were times when I used to also push Mrs. Singh, no, let's go a little further. Let's go a little, an arm and a leg. You said, just relax, Champika, just relax. It'll all happen. Let's be sensible. And, all that honestly has paid off. So it's very funny, India being a large country. Now you see even Europe, Dipali, am I out of my time? I'm way out of my time.
Yeah, a little out of your time.
Yeah, a little out of my time. Okay, so I'll give others a chance and then you all can ask me questions later.
Thank you. Yes, we've got lots of questions to ask you. We've got lots and lots of questions to ask you.
Good,
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. That was really wonderful. Dipali?
I can always spend hours listening to you.
considering I've never been a professional talker.
That was excellent.
Thank you, Champika and Kavita ji. We'll come back to both of you because I'm sure everyone and I myself have a lot of questions to ask. Let's now move on as to how we as individuals can start to play this very exciting and addictive game. Addictive, I say, because I got addicted. With pride, I would like to introduce Indumati Bhaskar. Indumati is an entrepreneur par excellence, as she has taken up the bold initiative to start state-of-the-art golf academy in Bangalore called To the Tee. I invite Indumati to let us know more about this project.
Chitra, can you please share Indumati's presentation?
Hello.
Hi, Indumati.
Hi. Thank you for giving me this opportunity today. And like today's, I mean, the reason behind me starting this academy, like, resonates so much with our today's topic. Like my son, like when he was 6 month baby, he lost his vision in left eye totally, completely. And, and when he started learning, we had to go through a lot of treatments and everything, continuously for 3-4 years. And so when he turned 5, I was just thinking like, I need to introduce him to some sport and, something, to go out and do something. So then I just took him to the golf course and he started loving it. And I could see a lot of changes happening in him after that. Like, he started, his confidence levels increased. He started enjoying being out there, and his general health also improved because, so much being in the open out there. And like he started believing in himself, like, as he started growing, he felt like, and I can play golf, like, I can do anything in life, like, so he started like, he's almost forgotten now that he has got an issue, like, so this game has given so much to us, like in life, and it's made us, it's brought in a lot of happiness in our life after my son started playing this. And as he started growing, and once when he was 10 years old, he asked me this question, like, Mama, you take me everywhere for coaching and everything. So when I come back, I don't have a proper place to practice all aspects of my game. Like, I have to go to the golf courses, wait for my turn, and I get to hit from the mat. So do you think this is going to improve my game? Like, so that really made me think what he's asking me is correct. See, like, we are giving them all, the facilities, like, giving them the best coaching and everything. But at the end of the day, are we giving them the right place to practice their game was my, the big question. So then I decided, okay, why not start something like, with all aspects of this game, wherein the kids can come and learn, practice, do everything, like, in one place. Like I used to roam around for like his fitness to another place, his mind coach to another place, always Bangalore traffic, as you all know, like, it's like you're spending hours of time on the road. Like, so that's when I decided, why not make it easy for all the parents, have everything, like all round development, like have your mind coaching, your nutrition, your fitness, everything. And you start developing, from the beginning with all the facilities, like, not only your golfing activities, the activities which, connected to developing your game. So this is when it started, and it took me 2 years to find the app place, because I was looking for something which I can set up nearby to the city so that the kids can come after school and practice. And finally it happened. So this is my, this is the reason why this started, To the Tee started. And so many people have been very supportive in this when I started doing this. A lot of parents, so many of my friends, everybody, like, have been a complete support in this. And that's it.
Wow, Indumati, that is fantastic. I mean, that is sheer dedication to your son. And of course, we are really and truly going to benefit from this wonderful To the Tee. And I, for one, will be ever ready to come. So
Most
thank you very much for sharing your amazing project with us. And I
Thank
wish you all the very best of success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I now invite my dear and long-standing friend and guru, Dr. Kiran Kanwar. Being Kiran's optometrist, I look after her eye health. I really enjoy her visits to my clinic as we exchange golf jokes and have good, healthy laugh. Kiran is one of the finest golf coaches that I have known in Mumbai, and I had the privilege of learning from her when she used to hold golf workshops at United Services Club in Mumbai. She has been very supportive of my initiative to start my golf tournament for women and children and always played my tournaments, even if when they were for beginners. Thank you, Kiran, for being with us today. It's such a great honor to have you. Chitra, can you please share Kiran's presentation? Kiran, we are now looking forward to your presentation to give us, enlighten us with the knowledge of physical, mental, and social benefits of playing golf. Over
Hi,
to you,
everyone. Thank
Kiran.
you for having me, Jyoti and Dipali. Thanks so much. And basically, I'd like to say I've spent 31 years teaching golf. It was a coincidence that I was the first golf instructor. But what I've also done is I've spent 27 years researching the golf swing to make it a much simpler movement, which gives you better performance and less likelihood of injury, which are both very important things. And so towards that end, I said, how can I be a better golf instructor? I studied in the US. I just finished college, which took me 8.5 years, master's degree in sports science and nutrition, and a PhD in biomechanics, which is like people say, why do you waste your time studying these subjects? But it is little realized the importance of these subjects in understanding not only how people swing, but how they can get better and all the physical and mental aspects of the golf game. So I don't want to bore you with more information about myself, but because the topic was golf for lifestyle and for a lifetime sport, there is one research paper that looked at 301 studies done by researchers from 22 countries, and they found that there are a lot of physical, mental, and social benefits to golf. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So the physical benefits are that it can be a moderate level physical intensity, physical activity, which is, if anyone follows the guidelines, you have to do like about 150 hours per week you're supposed to accumulate to be in good health or physical activity. And there are improvements to cardiovascular, lung function. There's been shown a reduction in some types of cancer. Your muscle strength can improve. If you're caddying or you're carrying your own bag, your bone density will improve, which will help you later in life to have stronger bones and reduce your risk of falling. But of course, you must be very careful to not get injury from golf by making sure that you have your condition to play golf and that you warm up before a round of golf. And then there are many mental and cognitive benefits. So there is impact on mental wellness, on mood, and golf is called a multimodal, physical and cognitively challenging sport, because not only do you have to think about keeping score, you have to think of where your other fellow golfers are. You have to bend, pick up the ball, tee the ball up. You walk uphill, downhill. Of course, walking is a very important aspect to the health aspect of golf. And there are studies that show it improves your self-efficacy, meaning your image of yourself and your self-worth. And then there are many social benefits in countries like Western countries where people are not so social as in India. People are quite lonely, lead very lonely lives. It's a big social component to improve both mental and physical health. Of course, in India, I mean, all of us probably can say some of our dearest friends are from the sport of golf. So there is a social component as well. And this last slide is, I was hired by a professor in University of Southern California, and I was a project manager. We did a study that was funded by the RNA that never funds these studies, but RNA and UK are getting very interested in recommending golf as a health promotion tool. So we found in our study that you could improve your gait, which is your walking speed and your length of your stride, which is also associated to the cognitive part. How well you walk and how well your brain is functioning are related. Your hand and leg muscle strength can improve from 10 weeks of golf we did. We offered free golf lessons for 10 weeks, twice a week, to 60 to 80-year-old people. And these were the benefits. Balance improved, balance while you're standing improved, your mental planning, decision-making improved, and multitasking, walking, thinking, all of those things also improved. So there is a lot of benefit from playing golf, especially if you walk. And of course, in USA, carry your own clubs. In India, even just the walking at a good pace is a great activity, and the making the golf swing is a power move. Also about golf swing, I'd like to say that yes, a lot of people, especially girls, as we're talking of women, take up the sport, and then there is a lot of attrition because a lot of girls find that they're not very successful at golf at a young age. You have to have a lot of perseverance to continue. But if you are taught a much simpler movement overall, many more people would stick to the sport, especially girls. So yeah, I think it's a great sport, and we have to find ways in India to encourage the playing of the sport. Nowadays, lots of golf lessons are being provided online. You can even learn golf in your living room, in your apartment. And then for people, especially who don't have the ability to get club memberships, learn it at home, acquire 2-3 clubs from Dipali instead of the whole golf set, and learn it at home, then go and pay green fees and play anywhere. That's something you can do. Or you can get an associate IGU membership. You don't need to be a member. So it is possible for women to play sport, even if you don't have club membership, you don't have equipment, you don't want to spend a lot for expensive lessons. There are still many ways that women can achieve a lot and get into golf in the first place. And another young lady asked a question, Megha, I think, that how do you do talent development? In the US, it is very well known through research that as a young child, do not push the child strictly into golf. Make sure they play a variety of sports to see what they are best at. And playing a lot of sports will give you all the physical skills, agility, strength, all of those skills that you need to be good at all sports, and then start to specialize at about 11, 12, at which stage also make sure that your fitness and your other activities, nutrition, all these are well balanced. And then you can develop. Talent selection is a very complex issue, because are we talking of a distance which a child doesn't develop their full strength and stamina for golf at an early age, or how good do they have hand-eye coordination for short game? It's a lot, and you have to stick the course and enjoy the game in the meantime, because it's not strictly, as Champika and all of you said, it's not strictly for the profession of becoming a golf player. You could become a greenkeeper, you could become a manager of a golf course. There's so many things you can do. So I would encourage all women to get into golf and stick with golf. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kiran. We are indeed privileged to hear from you. This wonderful presentation imparting knowledge into health and golf. I remember you very well because we started off going to various smaller courses. I tried to sell my clubs and you teaching. It was a wonderful twosome. And you are my teacher. I still have the word freedom in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jyoti, do you want to call in the next guest? I think Trimin Saluja. Can't hear you. Can't hear Dipali.
I would now like to invite Smriti Mehra, an international golfing champion, one of India's most powerful LPGA veteran, being founder along with Champika of WGAI, to share her experiences and achievements. Please share Simi's presentation. Welcome, Simi. Simi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Hi,
great.
guys.
Okay.
How are you guys doing? It was great to hear everybody talk and give their different opinions and ideas and thoughts on how to take the game. For me, it was very different. It was the early 90s. I represented India, in amateur golf, and I had a sort of bet with my mother, and she's, because there were no professionals and there was no place to go play professional golf in India. So I had a bet with my mother, and she said, if you win every tournament, you tee it up, you can turn pro. And, Kiran and Champi are very well versed with Mrs. Billy Mehra. My mom is not somebody you mess around with. So she stood up to the bet, and I won every tournament I teed it up in 93, 94. I won everything I played in Malaysia, Singapore. Like Champi told you, I had a course record in Malaysia and Saujana. And then I went to the US in 95 to qualify for the LPGA. I did not qualify the first time. It was tough. My mom gave me, I think, $2,000 and said, good luck. If you don't make it, come back and I'm going to get you married. Kiran is well aware of how strict my mother is. So I made sure I did everything in my power not to come back. I played on the mini tour there, made money. And then in 96, I qualified for the LPGA season in 97. And Seri Park and I, and in fact, Champi was talking about Seri. So Seri Park and I were the first two Asians playing on the LPGA tour. It was predominantly a white tour, Europeans and Americans. And the difference is Seri Park came with a sponsorship from Samsung with $1 million, and I came with $2,000 from my mother kind of deal. So I had to pay my bills, I had to pay the caddy. I did everything that I could to sort of, ask for help. But funnily, my two sponsors that finally did come through and I got through onto the LPGA was somebody from Bangladesh and Pakistan. I know it's funny. They were family friends and they supported me. I was very grateful. One is actually a brilliant bridge player, Mr. Zia Mahmood from Pakistan. He's a very well-known bridge player. And they supported me. I got on tour. I think I was the longest hitter in the world for 2 years till I broke my wrist. You have a lot of injuries when you play. You're playing 40 weeks a year. You're driving tournament to tournament. And I think Champi said that it was a rough time, but let me be very clear. The best time of my life was playing on the LPGA Tour. The respect that I gained, the friends that I have today, they're all, Heather Daly Donofrio is the head of media for the LPGA. Anne Kane is the head of Titleist, that Dipali is very aware of on the LPGA. And sorry about the dogs, I'm in the mountains, so there are a lot of dogs around me. And I had an absolute fantastic life. I had a wonderful time. The event that Champi mentioned about it was the World Cup that I qualified for. What was really, really pathetic and sad that it was the final round of the British Open in 99. And I was right up there, I think 2 shots behind the lead. And Mickey Walker walked up to me right before I teed off on the final round to tell me that India did not send a second player to complete the Indian team to play in the World Cup. I don't think you people have any idea what it felt like teeing it up on the final round of the British Open with 2 shots from the lead and going through, wow, what a fabulous country I have. That was my thought process, with quite a few abusive languages. I'm sure my reputation precedes me about my language. And, I grew up with boys, I'm an athlete, and I apologize for it, but that's just who I am. I did it the hard way, the really, really hard way. Even when Champi came up to me with the idea of starting the WGAI, we are very grateful to Mr. Satish Nandan, who stepped up and a wonderful man who stepped up at the right moment, Mr. V.S. Singh, who stepped up at the right moment and helped us create this fabulous organization where there are 40 girls today. I sort of did predict it then. I said it's going to be a slow start because you can't pick out professionals when you don't have a great amateur pool. And unfortunately, the ladies section in India has not done its bit. It can do a lot more, but it hasn't done its bit in promoting amateur golf. Thus, the pool in professional golf is so small. Other than that, when the WGI started, like she said, there were 5 of us, and I was still playing actively on the LPGA. And I would fly back after finishing an event on Sunday. I'd fly back on Monday to India to play a WGI event. I'd land on Tuesday, teed up on Wednesday, finish on Friday, fly back to the US on Saturday. And I did that 7 times a year. Just so that to make sure the WGI gets the leg, I don't think people quite realize what it would do to your career on the LPGA. So I did make quite a few sacrifices, but I have 0 regrets. I love where I am. I love who I am. And I love the fact that we were able to create something out of absolutely nothing. And that's pretty much what it is. And finally, about the golf swing, Kiran, you said something. Kiran Auntie, I used to call her, by the way, but now I'm going to be 50. So I'm excused. But Kiran Auntie, Kiran said something very interesting. She said that, you should play all sports. And I 100% agree. I was a butterfly swimmer. That is why I was the longest hitter in the world for, I think, 3 years till I broke my wrist, and I still hit the ball fairly, pretty far. And it's very, very important that you play all sport because, every sport brings its own set of skills. And most importantly, if you only play golf, you're only going to develop the right side as power and left side as a sort of a stopping of power, but it's not really stopping, but like a brake. It's like an accelerator and a brake. You can't do that. You're going to be unbalanced. You're going to look like this. Your neck is going to stick out. So play all sports, swim a lot. And when it comes to, the benefits of golf, my mom, who I worship the ground my mother walks on, and she is a tough lady. She was supposed to have knee surgery 2 years ago. And the doctor told her, Mrs. Mehra, you won't be able to walk if you don't get knee surgery. And she turned around and said, I'll show you. You don't tell me if I can walk or not, mister. I'll show you. And, kudos to her. She didn't have surgery. She plays golf. She's walking. And the COVID did set her back a little. But, I talk to her every day and she's super excited. Her body's moving great. And to add to that, Kiran, I would say the girls who do start golf learn something very important called grounding. Putt, chip, hit balls, bare feet, at least for 2 hours a day for everybody. Grounding, there's an electric current that runs from the ground to your body, and it's a charge that goes through. It's very important that you do this because your blood is always moving fast. It's like a natural blood thinner. And what a great job the West is by making rubber shoes so we disconnect from our planet. So don't disconnect from your planet. Play golf, play bare feet, and have a great time.
Wow, that is an amazing career, Simi. Thank you so very much. We really enjoyed your talk. And giving us such an insight into this glamorous world of winning tournaments and also being the power to influence lives of inspiring women golfers. Thank you very much for being with us today. Now we are going to, looking forward to all those questions coming from the audience. But before we do that, I now invite Triman Saluja, daughter of Commodore Amarjit Saluja, a serving Navy officer. Triman, being a Fauji child, has had tremendous encouragement from her father and the armed forces to reach pro level in January this year. Congratulations, Triman. She played my tournament in 2017 at the United Services Club and inspired me to have a separate trophy for under 18s. Chitra, can you please share Triman's presentation? Welcome, Triman.
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, it's an honor and a privilege to speak to such accomplished ladies today, whereas I have more or less just started my journey. And as the saying goes, have miles to go before I sleep. So my dad used to play golf, and even he probably had not dreamt that one day I would be trying to make a career out of it. It was just one of those days when dad had gone to Army Golf Course Delhi and I had tagged along with him. And like all kids, I was just trying to have fun swinging his clubs. As luck would have it, there was Mr. Anitya Chand. He used to conduct coaching sessions at EPTA for juniors. And he saw something and he walked up to my dad and said, please put her with me, and she has an amazing swing. She'll play nationals in about 6 months. So thus my golf journey started at the age of 13 and a half, and I played my first IGO tournament in Feb 2014. Nearly 6 months after starting, and came second, followed by another one where I won.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then I won the Albatross Inter-School tournament, and Anitya sir was right in his judgment. It is here that Army stepped in sponsoring my training, which I underwent at EPTA, followed by DLF Golf Academy. For the next 2 years, that is 2014 and 2015. I have to thank EPTA for all the support provided to me, and I distinctly remember 2 lady golf captains, Mrs. Pamela Bhagat and Mrs. Raja Dhillon, who always had words of encouragement for me. Had it not been all the encouragement from EPTA and the initial training with DLF Golf Academy, I would probably not have progressed this far. Apart from the initial success, I was declared the most promising golfer of EPTA for 2 consecutive years. That was 2014 and 2015. Some of my achievements were shown, and I must say that Delhi has a great golfing culture. But when I was in Mumbai, that was not the case. The reason could be the 4 months of monsoons and not that many quality golf courses. So Jyoti Care Foundation's effort to organize a tournament for ladies there was really noteworthy. Apart from my golfing achievements, I managed to balance both golf and studies, wherein I had a CGPA of 9.6 in class 10th boards, and I scored 94% in class 12th exams. For academics, I would like to recognize my parents for full support, and I guess you know what I mean. Excelling in academics impacted my golf, but I guess that's the sacrifice required to at least complete the basic education. Currently, I am pursuing history honors from Delhi University, and that's about it for now. So back to golf. After initially being coached by Mr. Anitya Chand, and because of frequent movements, because of my dad being in Navy, I had to change coaches depending on the location. So I was coached by Mr. Amandeep Johal in 2015-2016, followed by Mr. Sanjay Singh in Hyderabad at Hyderabad Golf Association from 2016 to 2017. Currently, I am being coached by Mr. Lawrence Brotheridge, who was based in Pune at the David Ledbetter Academy. But unfortunately, he had to relocate to UK due to COVID-19 as his contract was terminated. All these coaches have made me a better player, and I thank my stars that I had each one of them to support me during the various phases of my growth as a golfer. In the end, I would like to thank all the ladies on the panel for letting me share my story today, and some of whom who have been a part of it. Thank you.
That was a wonderful presentation, Triman. Thank you so much for sharing with us your experiences and giving us an insight of how our armed forces encourage young golfers. That is really wonderful. And how you really balanced your career with your academics is wonderful. Well done, Triman. I now invite Dipali Gandhi to enlighten us of her tremendous success as an entrepreneur by starting pro stores all over the country. Congratulations, Dipali, on the opening of your latest store at Pune Golf Club on 5th September this year. I'm taking this liberty to ask you a question. How did you get into this golf industry, and tell us more about Golf Industry Association, please.
Thank you, Jyoti. You have always been supporting me, and golf is my passion. It is what has defined me, and I am thankful to everyone who supported me. As a youngster, all of us, I think, went with parents saying, go to classes, go learn embroidery, go learn singing, dancing. And I was never wanting to do that. I only wanted to go out and play. Luckily, I was in a school, Rishi Valley, which encouraged, and I could follow my passion for playing sport. As I grew older, circumstances made me independent, and I had to look after myself. And we had a factory in Malaysia, and I saw golf happening at that time. And I thought it's going to happen in India. And it has. Okay, not as quickly as I had hoped it would be, but it has. Over the last 30 years that I have been in the industry, I have seen a lot of changes, people picking up golf, and there is no longer that, oh, I cannot play golf. It's only meant for certain people. I was elected president of the Golf Industry Association in 2017, and during my time, I tried to widen the scope of the industry, and I think I achieved what I set out to do. We have a great team looking after it now. I would say that golf is a passion that defines us. It defined me for sure. And I can hear the same thing with Simi and others. I think that is the best thing that golf does for one.
Dipali, can I add here that how you wonderfully helped me when I was in a dire stress. I had to go and play this Addicts tournament in Pune, and my golf set was like antiquated. And I had ordered one set from London, but it hadn't come in time. And you very graciously made a fantastic, I still remember, Flexicon set for me with measured my height and measured everything and gave me the correct advice. Jyoti, you have to do this, take this driver, take this one, and you immediately put up a lovely song. You actually made it for me within 1 month, a set. I'm talking about 1994. And you made a set for me, and that was most wonderful. I was just amazed at your abilities to produce a golf set all from scratch.
Thank you, Jyoti. Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I have worked in True Temper factory, in Apollo factory. I have spent time in Taiwan understanding the manufacturing of club heads. And I have qualified as a club fitter from Goldsmith many years ago. Of course, now I've stopped manufacturing, but basically I have always run engineering companies. So the understanding of it was very easy. And in those days, I could get R&A approval for the golf sets that we used to manufacture. Unfortunately, I had to close it down, and we now distribute for some very good #1 brands, Titleist and FootJoy. And we supply to most of the shops all over India. But I think...
So
Sorry,
go ahead.
I think the time has come to keep the floor open for all the questions we have of Champika and all of them.
Yeah, that's true. So I would like to now invite Mrs. Taruna Patel, Flow Ahmedabad Chapter Chairperson, to start our Q&A session. Over to you, Taru.
Okay, thank you. What an inspiring story from each one of you. I mean, my intention as Flow Chairperson of Ahmedabad chapter is, when I knew that I was going to be the chairperson for this year, I had decided there are so many sports that women can play but don't in India. Sports in India is not as popular for women once they get married, like many of you also mentioned, and through so many difficulties you all went through after you got married, had children, you still continued with it. But most women don't have that luxury and are not able to continue with any one particular sport during their lifetime. So I'm in a similar situation. I started to play golf, or rather learn how to play golf, and Jyoti was instrumental in that. I tried about 3 times, and every time I failed because it was something to do with the family. And, you had to give it up the minute you're ready to play on the golf course. I had to give it up. And I'm also one of those women who was a career woman and got married into a family who had business, and of course, the in-laws are there. And, your life revolves around them, and I had to give it up. So finally, I decided, and in Ahmedabad started, here in Gujarat, Ahmedabad started having more golf courses. Baroda already had one. And I said to myself that somebody had to initiate this to make women as a sport, not only for beginners like Triman and youngsters, although it is becoming popular over here. I thought that women in this age group, like in Flow chapter, mostly the women are over 40. And by 45, I think most of us are ready with the kids finishing their school and all that, to have a career which is going to be, a sport which is going to be your lifetime and a lifestyle sport if you choose to keep healthy and, body and mind. So this is how I wanted to present this program today and initiate a lot of our members to start playing golf in Ahmedabad and inspire other youngsters, and especially, the women, the girls, and, a lot of you on the panel today have revolved your life around women's golf, starting with Jyoti and the rest of you, the Kavitaji and Champika and Simi. All of you have done a great job. And Indubati, I'm impressed you don't play golf, but you have a driving range, which is such a must. I mean, if nothing, you go to a driving range by yourself and practice golf. It's an expensive, I believe it's an expensive sport. But I think somebody mentioned whether it is Simi or one of you mentioned that it's not as expensive. I think Kiran, you mentioned it doesn't have to be an expensive sport. You can begin with just a couple of golf clubs and initiate yourself into golfing. So this was my intention, and I think I will fulfill this intention of beginning golfing for women in their later years. And maybe we will have all of you as guest visitors to the golf courses in Ahmedabad and see the changes maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm hoping we have a team, a Flow Ahmedabad golfing team, to even tour around the country and maybe internationally, just as, friends, as we cannot be professionals anymore, probably. I don't know what opportunities we have, but we will take everything, the inspiring stories of each one of you. And Triman can inspire the youngsters to play golf. So thank you for being with us today. I think you all explained everything very nicely. I don't have a question, but I think there are a few viewers who do have questions. And yeah, Niti, you may invite them if you're there. Otherwise, I will invite, I think Ritu Jain has a question. Ritu, you have a question?
No, not really a question. I just wanted to admire. There's so much of inspiring content that I really, and these women are so kick-ass, and like, I'm really enjoying the session. I had no questions, sorry, nothing. Just enjoying it for now.
I have one. I have a couple of them. So it goes to Trimam. Question for you is, only 4 women has won the Arjun Award. Do you have any ambition to win this award?
I think every sports person wants to win the highest award they can in the nation. So even I'm in that category.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Question from to everyone. What is the youngest age at which you start identifying golf talent? Panel?
I'll say something. As I mentioned before, talent has many components. As Simi very correctly said, the first thing to develop in a child is passion for the game. You have to set very limited goals for a child. Of course, as I said, play a lot of sports, but for golf itself, you put like I have a little 22-month-old grandson. If he makes a little putt of this size, yay, he's very excited and we're all making a big deal out of it. So you got to go very slowly, have small goals, don't push them at all into golf and make them literally beg for it. Please, may I go play golf? Develop the passion, as Simi very correctly said.
Yeah, it has to be passion.
About talent identification, golf is a sport where you can, to a great extent, develop talent with the right fitness and golf training, nutrition, all of those. You can, to a great extent. You may not be a Simi Mehra of golf because she was unique, but you can develop and then you bottom out at, reach some level. You might reach national level, if not pro level. And then there's so many other opportunities these days that you can get from golf.
You should also, like what she means by passion. I'll also tell you there are a lot of bad things that come with it because I bunked school in class 6 and I failed. And my mom beat the crap out of me. So yeah, you're going to have passion, but you're going to have these episodes also because it's very difficult to maintain, your studies. I mean, obviously a young kid here is doing a fabulous job with the numbers, but it's not the easiest thing to maintain school and play at the level. And, it was just 2 of us playing golf. It was Arjun Atwal and myself from Calcutta. And he plays on the PGA Tour and I play on the LPGA Tour. So I think we are a fairly fabulous success story from, a tiny little city called Calcutta. Without any help from anybody else, I'll tell you that, unfortunately, I did not get any help from the Indian Golf Union or government or nobody till much later in my career when Mrs. Singh stepped up and helped me out. I think it was in 2007 or 8 where DLF helped me. And that I think before that was Mr. Arvind Khanna, who supported me for a year. But other than that, when it comes to government or sports bodies or, it has no meaning to me anymore. You just have to develop it viscerally. You have to literally have it inside burning like a fire. So look for that. Look for that in your kids. If they have that fire, you've got something there. You can work with that.
So, Simi, was it disappointing when you, after winning the LPGA, was it very painful to lose thereon, or what do you do?
To be honest, I'm a really in-your-face kind of person. So I didn't really care. I had a fabulous life. I bought on my own terms, I bought a $500,000 house on a golf course. I drove a fabulous car and I did it on my own. So in a way, I think the more they told me you can't do something, I was like, yeah, let me show you what I can do. So even today, I have a passion. Unfortunately, my partner was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago and we've been working on that and she's clear and free. So you never know. Right now, though, I want to be a sadhu and live in the mountains. I found Shivji around here, so I think I'm going to be here for a bit till COVID decides that it no more wants to harass our livelihoods. But, I still have a lot of passion to do a lot of stuff. But do I expect anything and am I disappointed in my country? Not really. I didn't expect it, so there's nothing to be disappointed in. That's just the way I put it. It has no meaning to me anymore. It really doesn't.
So it's not really winning or losing, it's just enjoying the sport.
Oh, I've had a fabulous journey. I've played golf with, some of the most amazing people in the world. I played golf with Celine Dion, and they just treat you like normal people. And I think that's, I lived that life. They flew us private jets. I played a Trump event. I met him. I think he's fabulous. As a helper for women's sport, he helped the LPGA when it desperately needed it. And I've lived that life, and I've had a fabulous time. There's not a moment of regret, but I'm loving this part of my life too. So it's all good.
Thank you. Rupa, you have a question, I believe.
Yes, I'd like to address my question to Kavita. Incredible to see how you manage such a huge organization, Kavita, and you multitask. How do you manage everything with the activities, organizing everything? We'd like to know. Is Kavita there?
I think you're on, unmute yourself, please, Kavita. Unmute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
To be very honest, I'm helped very ably by my team, which is Champika. And, we have our body, we have Mr. Vivek Sharma in the office. Like she said, we are 4 or 5 people. So that is ably managed by them. And I don't see to the day-to-day things, but definitely it is a challenge. And I'm not going to speak about it from my personal level in the sense, because we come from a business family. I wasn't born into a business family. Both my parents were in the army. In fact, my mother delivered Champika and her brother in the army. She was a doctor. So, but it is challenging, I would say. And I'm being very honest about this. And the reason I always say to the press also, and probably I've been damned a lot for it. But what really upsets me is that it is not recognized by the government as a sport. Women's golf is not recognized as something that should be respected, that needs some position on the India map of sports. It's very unfortunate, because I think in India we just tend to go for team sports, and Rupa, it has been a challenge. Honestly, like you say, I also have a veterinary hospital which I work very closely with. I love dogs and pets. My husband is very, very encouraging, very supportive. He's also a golfer. We're all a mad family of golfers. My father-in-law, my great-grandfather, when he was alive, my father played golf, my sister played golf. So it is a passion, I would say. Sure. And I wouldn't say you sacrifice, because I'm not at that level. But yes, sometimes it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of effort, especially in India, to raise money for tournaments like this,
Yes.
The only help I've ever had is from the corporate sector.
Correct.
Very rarely do I'm being very honest and blunt. I once went to meet the tourism minister. I said, look, we need tourism in our country and we need help for women's golf. We were at a very fledgling, do you remember, Champi? We were just a few, 4 or 5 years into the thing. And she heard me out. I said, look, we need help. Thailand runs on golf tourism, sex tourism, other tourism. Golf is huge in Thailand. Correct. But India has some of the oldest golf courses after St. Andrews and all in India. In the south and in the north. We have golf courses at the highest climates in Gulmarg and the other place above Gulmarg, Champi, where, it's, yeah. And, we don't sell it. And she heard me out and all of that. And all that I wanted at that point was 4 tickets from Air India business class to get the officials from overseas here, because that time we were a tri-sanction event. And she heard me out and said, Mrs. Singh, golf is really a rich man's sport. What is there in India for us in tourism? I was shocked and disgusted at the narrow vision that the tourism minister at that time had, this lady. And I hate to say this, she was from my school, which I found out later. I'm from St. Mary's, Pune. I was appalled, and I constantly face this wall all the time when I go to meet anyone in the government. I go and meet government secretaries. I'm told it's a rich man's sport. We have no time for this. We don't even want to hear your presentation. We are not interested. This is sports.
Absolutely.
If someone like that is there in a position of power and wants to wield that power in a very negative sense, honestly, I don't know where we're going to turn out. Everything that happens is through personal endeavor of the individual, the hard work, the discipline. It's very disheartening. I'm being very blunt. And unless this mindset changes of certain men and women who are in a position of power to help sports people in our country, and I'm not just saying this for golf. I faced this in golf because I've dealt with it.
Yes.
I've heard similar stories of how appalling it is sometimes for other sports men and ladies as well. So I think this has to change, and I feel we have to take this up very strongly. Like I said, I've spoken about it at every public platform that I can, at press conferences. Chumpy's aware of that. It's like for them, it's in 1 year, out of the other year. And the same people on these bodies go abroad for all these international tournaments, this, that, take their families, freebies, all of that. And yet the poor sports people, Champika knows, I mean, what we faced in Rio for the Olympics in 2016, it was appalling. We did not even give, because we could not, we wanted to from WGI, but our players did not even have so much as golf equipment, which had the India bag, golf clothing, which said India. I mean, everything is so knee-jerk, so last minute. There's no planning, there's no thought, there's no desire to help someone. It's a very selfish mindset. And I don't know why this is there, because I don't see it in other countries. I mean, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, China, they pour millions of dollars into their players because they recognize that they will bring some fame to our country. I'm now beginning to see it because I'm now on the Olympic board, and Mr. Batra and all have been very helpful, and have been very encouraging. But then unfortunately COVID happened, but honestly from the government, it's appalling. So when you ask me how do I manage, the only time I get really frustrated and angry is when I have to deal with a negative mindset. I'm very prepared to work hard, take everyone on. I have no ego. I'll go and sit outside somebody's office for 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. I have sat across people who've ignored me when I go to meet them to ask them for golf. I mean, for support for the country, for the players. They pretend I don't exist. They won't even address me because I'm a woman. They'll talk to the other two gentlemen who are there with me. So it's terrible in some aspects. And I mean, I really feel for our athletes and for our golfers.
Likewise, it's appalling. I wish things change soon.
Well, we keep trying, and if not this generation, I hope the younger generation will take.
There is gender parity even in golf tournaments, or you think if you're organizing a men's golf tournament? And
no, I have to be very.
Is there any gender parity?
No, we've had amazing support from all our corporate sponsors. In fact, the only reason why the Hero Tour runs is because Mr. Pavan Munjal, DLF, Mr. Labru from AIS, at one time used to, Mr. Gautam Thapar, he used to, I mean, it's across the board. They're all, they're all golfers themselves, they're passionate about it, and they want to give back to the game.
Absolutely.
And we are very above board. We are very clear in everything. We don't do anything that's incorrect. Our accounts are audited, all of that. So I can say that we hold our head very high, and we, that's the way we work. I've never had a problem. Like I say, it's only dealing with the government.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. I think Ritu Jain has raised her hand. She has a question. Ritu, please go ahead. Can you unmute yourself, Ritu?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I was just, So my question is that I wanted to ask a question to Champika. So while I was hearing in 2004, when you were invited to speak at the first World's Women Golf Congress, you saw the way forward for professional golf for women players in India. What was the vision that you shared with the patrons there to create the WGAI as it is? And are you happy with what you've achieved till date, or do you feel like there's so much more? Of course, there is so much more to be done, but what more could have been done? Which probably, like what Kavita was mentioning, because of prejudices or whatever that is that we come across.
I think, Champika, you're on mute again, sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting, Ritu. Thanks a lot for that question. 2004 was a turning point. The LPGA actually invited me to speak on fan development. And when I stood up in front of a whole, gathering over there, I talked about something on how Indian fans can be developed, but I said, I've come from a country where golf per se, I said we don't have professional golf here, and it is a difficult, time for us. So it's just a coincidence that the speakers before me had, put in so many numbers and figures and, talked a lot about that. And I decided to choose a topic which was more of, if you all understand the chakras of our body and how we can give positive vibes out through fans, through fans and spectators to players, for example. So I went into a lot of details of that, of how spectators, fans, all, especially in India, an ancient, what should I say, theory of ours, which led to, players performing better and better through this and through positive vibes which were coming out. So after I spoke, I had a lot of media people, a lot of, people who were there said, look, we were so happy to just hear very simple explanation, and we agree with you that spectators and fan following are critical. They are very, very important for players playing any sport, and especially in a forum where uh, at that point in time, we were not even started. So anyway, the fantastic thing about the World Congress was they had, each day, twice a day, they had these workshops. So during one of those workshops, I, spoke to the vice president of the LPGA, Karen Durkin, at that time, and told her, look, this is my problem. I've got one player and she's here playing, of course, at the LPGA. And how do we get a life for these poor amateur golfers after, their amateur golf? And they said, look, go ahead. I said, we got one player, two officials. It's sounding like Korea. So to cut a long story short, one thing is very important is that where there's a will, there's a way. Okay. And I came back to India. My own national federation told me, you are starting something. If you're going to fail, you're going to fail. It's not going to happen. Forget about it. What will happen? And this was a time when our Indian players were the backbenchers of the Asian Ladies Invitational Golf Championship. We were literally coming in the last two, last three, last four, so people were tired of seeing this. And then somebody told me that, oh, we must keep sending our team for participation, which is good. But like I mentioned earlier, one of the most important things was that period was very difficult. Even now, golf, the potential of golf has not been realized. The potential of golf being an industry still not been realized in our country. And when Mrs. Singh just spoke about the tourism department, Ritu, WGI, we are making an earnest effort to reach out wherever we can. Now, just to give you an idea, there was a time when golf was very north-centric. Then we found that it's become exceedingly, what should I say, popular in the south, starting down from Bangalore, Hyderabad. Then we found it's becoming exceedingly fantastic in Gujarat, for example, in Ahmedabad particularly. You've got a whole lot of lovely golf courses. Now, as we speak, Calcutta was another, the West Bengal was another huge hub for golf. Now, as we speak, we are just a few days ago, we got an email from somebody in Mizoram. I mean, do many people sitting on this panel or in the audience even know that there's a beautiful golf course that has come up there in Kaziranga? So when the, you know, Mrs. Singh talks about the tourism ministry, it's a fact. Today, I can very, you know, safely say that why is the tourism ministry not putting much more effort into developing tourism golf in India, you know, bringing people here. Now that is something very difficult to understand, and that is it's a very important you know, what should I, phase of developing golf in different manners. Now these people in Mizoram, you'll be surprised, have asked the WGI to do a caddy, women's caddy program, and we are up for it. We said yes, no matter what it takes, we will come there and help you to set up women's you know, caddy programs and women's golf in Mizoram. Same thing this year. I think the last you know, during the Hero Women's Indian Open, we have a development program for junior golfers. So right from Guwahati, we had girls coming from Guwahati, we had girls coming from, you know, smaller towns all over India to come and learn much more about the game. I'm happy about the development, Ritu, okay? But yet I feel there has to be a concerted effort, a much bigger effort from women across our country. One very important thing I'll say is that, you know, today we are, you know, senior citizens, but there's a generation down there where I felt like when I was young, say in my 30s and my you know, early 40s, I was a volunteer, and all this work we do is a lot of it comes from volunteering out of passion. Now I'm finding that the younger generation, we need a lot more women who can add the dots up, you know, add the dots across our country, because we are not like one little country like Great Britain or Ireland. We are a huge nation. Now we need many more hands. We need many more volunteers. We need many more people to join, you know, the to give a, you know, a huge push to the game, be it through the tourism ministry. So what happens is, like, in our country, we know that, okay, the tourism ministry will function according to the people, whether they are interested in looking after golf or not, whether they, you know, whether they have a mindset which is blocked towards development of golf. Now, I'll tell you, I belong to Jammu and Kashmir. What golfing facilities there are, there's just no effort, a very, very, you know, meager effort being made to develop the game for tourism purposes over there. Now, in one respect, let me just say very candidly, when you expect international golfers to get attracted to your facilities, they have to be world class. Now, when we talk about world class, it's you know, your hygiene, your toilets, your, you know, the whole you know, you have to have experience. The experience has to be there. We need the experience, and we need the right type of people to develop that experience through our, literally through our own experience that we have world across. I mean, why would somebody pay certain, you know, thousands of dollars to come to India to play in Kashmir if they don't have the facilities? And that is, there's no realization about that. And this is the sad part. Whether it's Mizoram, whether it is remote places, are honestly, they are stunning. Some of our golf course locations are stunning.
Look at Pahalgam. That's the
absolutely out today. Pahalgam is, it's better than the golf courses in Switzerland.
Yes.
But the facilities which are being meted out by the tourism department are way, way below any acceptable level, even for Indian tourist golfers who go there. And that, you know, if somebody could, you know, make a correction there, utilize professional services for these clubs and provide the right experience, there's no reason for the game not to develop a lot more. And I think, you know, Ritu, on this, after your question, I have to share two stories very quickly with you, which are real life stories. One is about a lady whose husband retired from the government service, right? She retired, he retired, and she retired shortly after. Now, why I'm giving you this story is that in terms of longevity and well-being, the husband decides that since the wife is just retired, he said, look, I'm going to teach you how to play golf. And sure enough, the wife who sat on a desk for most of her life came out and was close to nature, and she enjoyed playing the game tremendously. She started learning, and you won't believe it, um, Taruna and Dipali, all of you listening in, that her husband died within 2 years of teaching her how to play golf. And today that lady is so grateful to God that her husband put her onto the game. She is been able to, weather storm after storm. She lost her husband, then she lost her son, but it's her golf that's kept her going, and the fact that it was her husband who left her with this, and she was already
Legacy
in 60 years
almost.
old. She, left this legacy of golf. The other thing I want to tell Dipali and all the younger people who are in golf is Kiran had a program called NIGS, the National Initiative for Golf in Schools, which the WGI completely funded and took to the state of Jammu and Kashmir to Srinagar. Now, when we went there was no help from anybody locally there. Absolutely zero. Whether it was the tourism department, it was something that the WGI took up to promote golf in schools. The sad situation there was when we had, these 100 little kids learning golf, their mothers were standing on the driving golf ranges with us and saying, why can't this game be taught to us also? And these were young mothers, say, in their 30s and 20s and late 20s, early 30s. So what I'm saying is that the potential of growing the game has not been realized yet. And this is the biggest,
Hurt one
pity.
thing.
It's sad, Ritu, that this is what I would have wanted. That look, even NIGS is a great program, but it lost its steam within 2 years of setting it up. So there's no sustainability. And all these places, like I said, there are women and children waiting to learn golf. We just are not being able to reach out to because of lack of funding. I mean, if WGI had, maybe 50
A
lakhs
huge
of rupees
purpose.
through a corpus, through companies who would say, look, please come out and, get the best coaches, spread the game out. What could be better? This is what we need. We need a big corpus so that actually if the WGI can reach out, and I mean, my heart goes out to even the ladies in Kashmir because they have never seen an outdoor life. They've got the golf courses, but they have a younger generation who are, they don't know where to start and where to begin. So this is what it is, Ritu, that while I'm happy on one side, the professional golf, had its place, but the potential to grow it in the next 5 to 10 years, we are not being able to identify that potential, which is very hurtful. I hope that
I am so grateful for your reply, and looking at how Taruna has now initiated this into Flow, and Flow having 17 chapters, I'm hoping we can take this up and have an IPL style
absolutely
of golf tournament within our Flow and start the process so more and more women are like kind of observing this, and it's like you said, it's aspirational. I look at it and I want to do it.
Absolutely.
So thanks so much. Thanks so much. It's
And
very
any
insightful.
support you need from Champika or me, I mean, we are happy to, share our thoughts with you, our views, any support, any ideas, anything you
Yeah.
needed.
Taruna's already set the ball rolling, so I'm very, very happy for that. Thanks.
Thank you.
No, I
Very,
really
very
want
good
to
of you,
start.
Taruna. And that's what we need, young volunteers, young women like you who can really take on and have a completely different vision with us.
I will wear that cap, young like me, okay? I don't think you know what. I'm in my 60s and I'm hoping that I can at least compete with some professionals, probably Triman. You can teach me a shot or two and I can compete with you. But, I mean, we have a question from Krina Shah, one of the members, but I have one question from Triman. What would you like to say to the younger generation, that what is it about that sport? Because most youngsters, they feel it's too slow for them. See, the thing about golf is a lot of concentration, a lot of everything is in a slow motion, really, and it's a long game. So what can you say to these youngsters to initiate them? One thing that comes to your mind to initiate them into this game, and probably the generation to take it forward, especially for the young girls. What would you like to say?
Sorry.
So,
I didn't know who that question was addressed to, sorry.
Yeah, so the thing is, I started golf when I was around 13 and a half. And at first, even I thought it was boring. So, but it once I started, my shots were like, once I started hitting it properly, I was hitting it in the air and everything. I thought, wow, this is cool. And to be honest, golf is slow, but I think it has a very good effect on you. Like, it's very calming. You're in nature most of the times, all the time. Then it's rewarding. Like, it's better than staying at home and studying all the time. I've noticed that most of my fellow golfers are very good at both studies and golf. It's because of the focus that you develop through golf courses and everything. And for youngsters, I think they need to just stick with it for some time and then they'll start enjoying it. That's what I went through. So that's why.
Thank you.
I would say that.
Thank you. And Krina, I think you can take the next question, and I'll have the last question with Hindumati, because you're an inspiration too.
Yeah, my question is that, like, where do Indian women golfers stand in the world ranking, or how do you rate our standard of golf in India compared to others worldwide? But as I think Champika said about the whole other countries also, I think. But still, if in if you want to elaborate it, you can answer it. Yeah.
So Karina, it's like this. When we talk about the Rolex World Ranking system was created, it was created only in 2007, 2008. And then it was announced because, golf didn't have a ranking system like other games have. And so currently what happens is that you have the Olympic rankings and you have the Rolex World Ranking. So on a worldwide spectrum, if you want to get into the Olympics, which is the very important event now, you have to be in the top 400. Now, when you're in the top 400, that doesn't mean that let me just amplify that. What happens is, for the Olympics, the players are the top 60 players, professional players, professional or amateurs, depending on your ranking. You can get into the Olympics by accruing points on from Rolex World Ranking tournaments, right? Now in India we only have one such tournament, which is the Hero Women's Indian Open. So every week when the players play, like they've gone out to play in the European tour, like Theresa Malik, Diksha Dagar, Aditya Ashok is playing the LPGA, they are accruing points. Now, if any of them are within the top 400, the Olympic Charter has different zones which can select a maximum number of players. So India comes within the Asian zone, right? And within the Asian zone, like currently we have two players, women players, who qualify for the Olympics like they did for 2020. Then they're still qualifying for 2021, and that is Aditya Ashok and Diksha Dagar. So if one player like Theresa Malik, Kirina comes, she plays fantastic golf over the next 6 months. Okay. So she's getting points and she has a chance to break into the top 400 ranks. But because she's an Indian, or say because she comes in the zone of Asia, she has a very good chance of also making it into the Olympic qualifying. So the ranking system, you see, you got to see that the people playing in Europe and LPGA have a distinct advantage because they are playing so many events. Whereas in the East and particularly in India and our, SAARC region or Southeast Asia, because we're dealing this year with COVID, our players are not getting a chance to play. There are just 3 players who managed to go out. One is, 3-4 players. Twessa, Diksha Dagar, and Aditi, they have actually been very brave, and then because they know they need the points, they're going out to play. A lot of the other players just have to, unfortunately, wait and watch what is going to happen over the next 2-3 months with the COVID situation. So it's not easy to get world ranking points. It's a long process, and you just have to carry on playing tournaments or qualify for the LPGA or qualify for Ladies European Tour, and that thankfully a lot of our players have started doing now. So the Ladies European Tour and the LPGA now have a joint venture tour, which is giving better opportunities to the players from our countries, from India, etc. So we are very grateful for all this. But there is a long journey ahead, and it's what should I say, for all our players, they are actually taking on the challenge because they know they want to play in the Olympics. So anybody who's got that what should I say, mental agility and is willing to make the
Hunger and the
effort,
drive.
they'll
Yeah.
get there. They'll get there.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shampika.
And our last question, I know we are very late, but last question for Indumati. You have built a world-class training academy and especially beautiful driving range and everything attached to that. So I just wanted to ask you, is it the inspiration to the younger generation? Again, we keep coming to that because we are bringing in golf into our country, and especially for women and girls. Is there any way you can inspire, because you have a beautiful place where you can come and practice and take your coaching? What do you do? What can you do?
We have done actually so many things to inspire young golfers to come to the place. We have created an all-weather driving range, so wherein they can play even when it is raining, and the distance 340 yards of hitting distance, and the feel of the course inside the range. Even we have created a separate bunker academy wherein we have 6 different bunkers with different depths and everything to make it more interesting for young golfers. I just want them to get that fear of bunkers out of their mind, and make it more fun for them. I feel once they get used to playing different aspects of the game, it really, the fear goes away from them. And like that, even the putting and even the other aspects around it, we've made it very interesting to make more and more golfers come and enjoy, come and play,
that's what my question is. It inspiring more youngsters to join because it is beautiful. It looks beautiful on the screen. So that is, I think, what we need probably all around the country. And I think Champika, you mentioned about tourism, golf tourism in India. Why not? I think tourism is also one of our initiative for FICCI Flow national level, and we are doing other things for tourism. Why not golf? So I will also try to take that up, and definitely Ritu Jain is our past chair, Ahmedabad chapter. Rupa Patel is past chair, Ahmedabad chapter, and I as my mentors, I request your help to take this sport further. Whether we are in the team or not, we inspire our younger next generation, next level of leaders for Flow. Not only Ahmedabad chapter, but all 17 chapters. And I think our president also, she sent me a message yesterday that Assam is a big spot for golfing, and that's exactly what you mentioned about Mizoram. So I think we are on the right step forward, and I thank you all for a beautiful session. I mean, we've stayed our time, but it was really enlightening for me. And Jyoti and Dipali, you want to say any last words before the vote of thanks? And I thank each and every one of you from myself. You know, it was really wonderful. Thank you.
So I had a question for Indumati. Would she give our lady professionals, because we have some lady professionals in Bangalore. Bangalore is also getting to be a very big hub for golf. So would she give the free rein of her academy to our lady professionals to participate and practice there?
Definitely, that has been, one of the main points in our agenda, like, to promote all the women, the girls who are who are doing really extremely well in this game. And that was a main idea, behind, give them the wonderful facility to practice, with all aspects and different, undulations and everything. And I think nothing like it, and we have so many beautiful golf courses in Bangalore, but the question is, do we have a proper range, wherein you can practice all aspects of your game without any other disturbances? So this will be a unique place for all the professionals, who are trying to, benefit, trying to become professionally, take it up
wonderful.
Professional level.
Thank you. Thank you. Any more questions, anyone? Priti, Mehta, do you have any question?
I just have one more question, sorry.
Okay.
Kavita ji, DLF is the shan of Indian golf. And DLF has won many academy awards worldwide. Thanks to DLF, Golf Industry Association has also come into its own being. Gurgaon has actually come up because of DLF, having the golf course and all that. As you know, actually it's not a question, it's a request from my side. In West India, except for Ahmedabad, Bombay has the capacity to grow golf, but due to limitation of space, there is no way that golf can grow. But now Alibag is an extension of Bombay, especially now with the roll-on, roll-off ferry. I would really like you to take it over to the committee that decides on building new courses to have a course similar to DLF at Alibag.
Okay, now I'll tell you something on this. Honestly, I know because, we have land in Goa, and at one point we were keen to, maybe have a golf course there. And see, the only way, honestly, a golf course can be sustainable and be top of its, I would say, be on the top of its courses, is that because you don't make money on a golf course. We don't make money running a golf course. For us, the money comes from developing the real estate around the golf course. And that is what generates the funds to have a world-class golf course and to run it the way we wish to. The government has to change its rules, which says you cannot have a golf course, I think, between around 500 meters off the coastline in India. Now, these are all archaic rules made by the government, by the British, I would say. Actually, when we did some research on that, because my husband, and this is, I'm not saying anything that is slanderous, it's there for everyone to read and see. The Thai government was paying a lot of officials of certain states to say that our coastline will get polluted with the golf course. So do not permit golf courses on the coastline. Now, Thailand's, the best courses are all on the coastline. right? Why cannot our government bodies, officials, local state government people realize that this was a long-term ruse by the Thai government? Because you see, India is in the middle. I mean, Dubai has golf courses. It's bloody hot. It's 50 degrees 6 months of the year. Thailand has terrible weather. India has the full power, I would say, to have golf courses which are played in the north during the summer and the south and the coastal areas during the winter. These are all policies that the government has to take and take up very strictly. I mean, we face environmental issues. I mean, luckily my husband foresaw all this. Everything we do at our golf course is totally 100% environmentally correct. Our trees, we don't cut one tree. Jumpy knows, she saw, we got our trees transplanted when we were doing the development. We planted like 5,000-10,000 trees in that whole area. All our water in the lakes is all from our STP units, which are come from the buildings in Gurgaon, whether it's the business buildings or the residential complexes. So I don't know how to say this, Dipali. It's very tough. You know, it's an uphill task if there are not reforms done in the government. And this is not something you and I can decide. It's a very tough journey, and it's, Alibag, God, it would be a dream, but every environmental body in the country will come and shut you down. Let's put it that way. So the whole mindset in our country has to change. I mean, the best courses in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, West Coast of America, you know, they're all on the coast. So doesn't anyone see that? Yeah. Doesn't anyone use their wits and try to change things for the positive for the country?
Thank you. So can we take this as the last question now and have a vote of thanks? Sorry, Preeti, very quickly, if there's anything you want to say, Preeti?
Yes, I want to thank you, Taruna, for this. And after COVID, I'm definitely there to restart rather, because there was a time when I started, and because of my medical profession pressures, I could not continue. So I'm looking forward to this, and thank you so much, everyone, for this session. And it was just wonderful.
And I just want to intervene for a sec. I just want to say something about golf. You know, my mother-in-law and my aunt-in-law were both sick at Sloan Kettering in New York about 15-20 years ago. And we would spend hours there, 10-12 hours a day there at the hospital. We met all the doctors, etc. They all categorically told us, they actually have done a study, the figures are there. They said, and since you're a doctor, Preeti, they said the patients who stayed longest in remission and who actually even came out of their cancers, they found were people who played golf and people who played bridge.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot to say about golf.
Yeah. I think they also keep you healthy in the mind, like our event is healthy in mind and body. Yes. Physically fit also. So that's really the
absolutely.
Yeah. And Preeti, yes. I would like to say that, we have our first meeting on the golf course on 10th of October. And for my panelists, you'll be happy to know that at Gulmohar Greens Golf Club in Ahmedabad, they're, joined hands with us, FICCI Flow Ahmedabad chapter, and facilitate us with special packages for Flow members to join the club and probably take up this sport. So thank you so much. And
absolutely, I'll be there for you and for anything else. And I'm a member of that club, so that's good.
I would also like to extend an invitation to all of you ladies, whenever you're in Delhi, anytime, winter, spring, summer, please come and be our guest. And I would love to host you at our club, play a few rounds. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll take
Please
up.
do let me know. My
Probably
email
next
address is
year.
there, my phone numbers. Just drop me a line or call me and it'll be arranged. So really, I would love to do that.
Thank you. Next year probably will come as a.
Thank you so much for that.
Please do that. Make a trip of, a group of ladies. We'd love to meet you all in person. Thank you.
I have to thank Jyoti and Dipali for making this event possible, because I just told Jyoti, my childhood friend, we grew up together in Mombasa, that you have to help me because I know she's been playing golf all these years. I said, you have to set this up. I have to take up this sport to more women my age. But she's done a fantastic program, and I thank all of you. And I will let Nandita Munsha, our Senior Vice Chair, to do the vote of thanks. And once again, thank you very much. Yeah.
Lovely talking to you, ladies. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Taruna. Lovely meeting you. All the
Yeah,
best
thank you,
for your
guys.
future endeavors.
Bye.
Thank you, Dipali.
Thanks, Dipali. Cheers. Have a great day.
Thank you, Simi. Thank you very much.
A very good evening to all the panelists of this evening and my Flow friends. What an amazing session today. Playing golf is great fun and also offers a wide range of mental and physical benefits. I'm sure this session has been an enriching experience for each of you as much as it has been for me. It is easy to understand how and why this is called a leisure as well as a business sport. The long meandering walks after each shot at the ball can leave much time to close deals or even just to catch up with good friends. I'm grateful to the panelists for this eye-opener session and for putting across their views to help us understand this sport better. Looking forward to many of us now taking up golf. Thank you to our sponsors, Madhuban Resort and Spa, Phoenix Creations Simplified, Satyanarayan Jadia and Sons, Sanket India Limited. My sincere thanks to our IT partner EITL for providing digital expertise. Big thank you to our design and print partner Akash Printing and Stationery and our PR agency Delta Crest Media. Thank you to all my fellow Flow members and all the YouTubers who have joined us today. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jyoti and Dipali for sure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Dipali.
Great evening, great session. Oh,
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful session.
Are you all ready to join the club now, right?
Indumati, my swing. I want to practice my swing.
We'll do it together, Rupa. So, Dipali, you have to dress us all up with golf clubs and outfits and everything.
Absolutely.
And Jyoti, you have to come coach us because she's a great coach also, personal coach, okay? I mean, not preparation, but she's a great motivator. That's what I should say. And,
Please make a visit to our academy also, like, all of you together.
I will tell Bangalore chapter, we have Flow Bangalore chapter to definitely look you guys up, because I mean, I'd love to, 100 balls. The first time you took me to US Club, Jyoti, I shot 100 balls. I don't know how many, so I'd love to do that. It's beautiful.
That was the range. Dipali had set up that driving range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And Neeti Mehta, who's on the screen, she's the one who's introduced us to the Gulmohar Greens Golf Club. So she set it up 10th of October. I will be inviting a lot more members here.
Any help from me that you require, please let me know.
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Lovely. Bye.
Lovely.
Bye, Rupa. Bye. Where was Reshma? I thought Reshma will be there today.
She was in transit.
Oh, okay.
She saw the beginning. And then she was in the plane.
Oh, because I wanted her to ask a question or so. you know,
Are she wanted to coordinate this event.
Oh, anyway, she's going to be our
She have
coach.
done a great job with coordinating it because she's a golfer herself. Na?
Yeah. But anyway, we'll have a lot of these.
Lovely event, superb.
I know. We didn't have a big crowd, but then, the time of the day and all that.
It's all, and there are so many events that are clashing.
Yeah. But I'm happy that I did what I wanted to do. One of the things I wanted to achieve was...
Brings back, actually, my first experience of golf was in the Northeast. I played in Shillong.
Okay.
And then I came back and played, and then I left it like you. So now we have to practice.
So now we're going to start. I started 3 times.
Yeah, same here.
I know. Shall we go? I'm going to be thrown out.
Bye.
Bye.